Hello everyone, this is Suneve, and I'm coming to you with Killer Romance, a Jeff the Killer X-Reader by DarkQueenXxRei. We're going to be starting off with Chapter 18, Morose, Day 6. Good morning. It was shouted at you from another room only a second after you opened your eyes. You sat up in bed not remembering any of the events that occurred the night before, not even your slumberless dream about butterflies dancing like soldiers in the sky while fighting to be the first one to see the sun in all of her inexorable glory remained. You knew that a battle awaited you in another life, and that it wouldn't be as confusing as your current one. However, again, you had no clue of the existence of fate's reoccurrence. You wanted to keep your promise to yourself, so you acted like you felt sick. My head's been acting really strange lately, you muttered. Sorry about that, Jeff replied. I would give you some Advil or something. You stuttered. No, I don't want to take anything else. I think all the pills have been clouding in my brain lately. It's been up all night thinking about stupid things. Things that are sort of strange and unrealistic, like a dream caught in the wildfire of a busy life. He made an effort to stare at you with a slight suspicion after you pleaded not to distract yourself from the main goal any longer. You finally started to feel the words writing themselves, and you didn't have to focus or try anymore. They just slipped off your tongue naturally and with ease as if they were destined to fall out of your mind. It really was peaceful and simple not having to think anymore. Thinking was what always drove you mad, after all. And heavy thinkers are known to be the craziest of people and the most insane individuals on the planet. Galaxies don't care about the balance of humans as much as they care about the balance of themselves. Okay, new topic then, Jeff muttered. Today is our last day in Paris, so are you feeling up to going anywhere? Of course. I wouldn't waste the day for anything, you replied. You walked over to the table and sat down, resting your head in your hand. You thought about the situation you were in with Jeff. If he was lying to you, then why in the world would he be doing so much for you? It was like he planned on devoting all his time and energy to you. Better get that out of your head. You already made a deal with yourself that you would stop thinking and just let things happen. There was no need to worry about some innocent guy who was willing to end his life for you if the time ever came. Or, that's what you thought he would do. You looked up at him and noticed the strangest thing. Jeff? Why is your hair black now? He froze. It was like all time stopped and the only people in the world were you and him. He looked shocked as if something absolutely terrible happened. His eyes snapped out of the front of his face while the digital clock on the counter failed to flip its own switch and reverse back to 0 after the end of the hour. Instead, it showed a number well over 100 to taunt you. Jeff started. What are you? He took a piece of his own hair in his hand and moved it into his eyesight. Every inch of his back shook with envy. But the only thing you noticed to be different than his normal self was the way he glared at you with confusion. No, he wasn't acting strange at all. Nothing he did was out of the ordinary, and his hair wasn't out of the ordinary either. His hair was an interesting color, actually. It was extremely different in different lighting, and the way you told him this was a bit outrageous. You probably scared him half to death with your tone, so you seriously need to stop thinking. I don't think you're seeing things right, he mumbled. Are you sure you don't need some Advil? Then you saw his eyes. They weren't blue anymore. Your eyes are different too, you mentioned, staring at him. They were completely concealed in Stygian waters overlapping the breeze that had made its way through the open window. It was then that you realized that the window had never been opened in the first place. The window was a window to the soul, and Jeff's pupils couldn't handle the immense amount of subsidiaries that he drank the week before. The black was bleeding out of his corneas like a freak show of tenebrious clowns to try and suffocate his sanity with the obscure, dolorous nature of the situation, and every forlorn filled second that etched by collapse more than looks into your veins. Your eyes lacked their luster, too. After seeing the act of the century, you couldn't even try to lay those eyes on the empty one staring back at you. Yet every time you tried to look away, he only took a step closer. He made progress every time you blinked and every time you sprained your view. His footsteps started to haunt you in a sleep that you were fully awake for. And you guessed it, was called reality. And reality was becoming more hellish in nature. It wasn't the same as it used to be. Nature. Nature had a weird way of doing things. Just like fate, you knew that the moon was up there waiting for you to be devoured alive. It was your destiny to get lost in the moment and fall through the glass floor, shattering all the memories you never knew were right beneath your feet. And as soon as you hit the ground beneath, everything you ever knew would change. It wouldn't happen just yet, but it would morph into the utter gloom built to mask your eyes and show them a biased history. Nothing would matter anymore, as the small facts of the past would point out the wrong enemy. You would run from the one thing trying to save you. You should stop questioning things, Jeff mocked. It only makes you more confused. Confused? Confused. You were confused. There was a booming knock on the door like a metal pan striking a human head. The sound echoed over and over again until you couldn't tell if it was only a figment of your imagination, but Jeff heard it too. And that's when a chill ran down the snake slithering up and down your spine. Real fear was settling, and your doors never invited it inside. Why? Jeff asked under the unknown. Why are they ruining this? He looked at you yet again, searching for the answer in your face, and a few moments passed when you decided to end your bet and started thinking of an explanation. You discovered that Jeff wasn't asking the open air for a reason why his plans were falling through. He was asking himself why he couldn't carry the weight of any situation without the setbacks included with associated interface. What have you been hiding from me? You say. He shook his head as he whispered, everything. Chapter 19, Plunge, Day 6. You wanted to curl up into a tiny ball and cry so that your eye sockets would no longer feel the pain of being burned alive. They felt as if they were set on fire months ago, and you were only realizing the intensity of the flames in that very moment. Something was trying to attack, and you didn't know if it was the creature banging on the door or the guy standing 10 feet away from you. He was so close, but everything you knew about him was across an ocean of lava. His dark eyes bleeding black were different than the ones with you crying a liquidized ash. The banging on the door increased, and it finally started to fall from its hinges. Jeff grabbed your hand before you were able to see who it was. Running over to the bedroom, he threw you inside and shut the door, locking it quickly. You watched as he unsealed the window and opened it as wide as it could go. That made you a bit frightened. Why would he stop protecting you in the way he always did before? He used to stand up for you and do whatever he could to resolve conflicts without getting you too involved. But now he's running away from the situation as if it was too much for him to handle. It honestly wasn't normal. Give me your hand, he demanded. And for a moment you thought about it. What would it be like to fall out of a window? Didn't you have a thought like that before, but instead of trusting your brain, you shook your head speechless? No, you stated, finally letting the word escape from your throat. And that's when the world changed for the very last time. Every single moment of your day was a nightmare, and every time something paranormal or strange happened, you woke up in a better place or a better situation. That's exactly what was happening now. The creature that had been chasing you completely disappeared, and you weren't standing on a balcony or near an open window, no. You were falling from one, and you knew that as soon as you hit the ground, you would wake up back at the top. You would jump over and over again, trying to escape, but you would never really die. You would see yourself sprawled out against bloody pavement just long enough to feel the pain of a soul leaving your body, but it would all reset so quickly you wouldn't even feel that pain go away. Breathing heavily in shock, the rate of your heart increased. Your brain started taking over, and you slowly walked over to the devil sitting on the windowsill. You placed your right fingers atop his left, and you felt how cold his hands really were. You were going through a fit of madness as a large smile, enough to sever metal ties, erupted on his face. Hey, you started to say, please, explain it all to me. I'm losing my trust in you. Once again, for the 17th time, the world reset. But things weren't as normal as they usually were after spurs of victimless innocence. Everyone remained in their initial places, but expressions changed more intricately. No one looked trustworthy anymore, and you had no reason to trust anyone. There was only a single person you could call trustworthy, and he already tossed trust over the edge. Jeff looked down towards the ground and had a sorrowful look on his face. All I ever wanted to do was love you, he said. Why wasn't he a monster in your eyes? The darkness was so thick and intoxicating, almost as if the entire world was covered by it. He had to climb his way to the top of the Black Sea before the demons behind his pupils pinned him down and sucked out his soul. His entire past was chasing him, it was haunting him. For the sins he committed were anything but pure, and he wanted nothing to do with them once he found a permanent solution to his problems. But the wall was higher than the greatest truth he had ever told. True love's kiss? No. Nothing could save him. The darkness behind those pupils was humiliating. Reading his aura would simply show you all the colors in the world, just like how the world found color when you met him. But black is in every color. In a sense. And now the world was colorful, even though you wished it was black and white again. No one bleeds neutral colors, and the world cries colorful tears. He was your world, and your world rained color to suppress the black and lock the darkness inside. But as soon as he tried to get rid of it, he had already given up all his color to you. Therefore, the only rainbow left in the world was scared, weak, and ultimately repelled by him. I can't trust you anymore, you whispered to yourself. He always knew who the real enemy was. Is this just a game to you? Jeff asked. Is this something you enjoy? Huh? I bet you like seeing the people fall around you and terrorize themselves into insanity. Yeah, I'm sure you just love it when there's nothing else I can do to save you, since you never wanted me to save you in the first place. Would you appreciate it if I left tomorrow and never came back? Would you appreciate the fact that the rest of my life would be absolutely miserable without you? Or maybe you think life with you isn't at all what's knocked up to be. If you truly cared, you would have listened to me when I told you I didn't need saving. But since you fucked this up in the first place, you feel like you have the right to fuck it up even more. You might think I forgot, but my soul will always remember. I will always remember the way deja vu strikes at a catastrophic nerve. Where the hell did that come from? The words that were spoken through your mouth but never registered in your brain, and you already knew that hearing voices wasn't a good sign, but having them speak through your body was a terrible experience. What would I ever do to hurt you? Jeff asked. Why are you so afraid of me? I don't know, you muttered. He took your hand and started to go on about leaving Paris behind. He said that you weren't acting like yourself and that a change in attitude can come from relocation. You agreed that too many strange things happened in Paris, memories of the day slipping from your mind, and you had woke up in an alley, but you no longer cared. It didn't matter because your own mind articulated circumstances in which you were supposed to be there. Everything was as normal as it could seem. However, you could have sworn that Jeff had an unusual smile plastered on his face as you walked out of the alley. That is the end of those 2 chapters. The chapters after that one is chapter 20, Archaic, day 7. Let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!